If you are a college student or a recent graduate or even someone who has a couple of years of work experience, this is perhaps going to be the most important video you are going to see this year. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can go on to incorporate this one skill, this one high value recession proof skill that is going to help you make upwards of 50,000 per month within the next 30 days. Yeah, I know that sounds too good, right? Here is how Kiran was able to do it.
So, first of all, Kiran, why don't you just start us off with a brief introduction about yourself, your background, and what your situation was like up to joining VerveSchool?
My background basically, I've done my education in business administration from St. Joseph's, and I worked as a financial advisor for nearly 2.5 years and as a content writer for about a year. With regards to sales, the future being very uncertain with the onset of AI like ChatGPT and all the other tools. So I just considering what I would like to do with respect to the future and what would also help me. And then I understood that sales would be an ideal fit for me because with respect to developing communication skills, influence, persuasion, and networking with people, I feel like sales provided me a good opportunity. And so when I landed up with VerveSchool and I spoke to Ayush and guided me throughout the process of VerveSchool, and experience has been unreal, to be really honest. Like enrolled to the program, and within the week I got to interview with a reputed company and got placed. And even with regards to the training, it has been pretty good. Where
So glad that you found it really helpful. You mentioned that you've been researching other sales training programs as well. So, what do you think set VerveSchool apart?
exactly, so through research of other platforms that offer sales bootcamp and placement guarantee and all of that, I found out all of the programs were like above 6 weeks or nearly to 3-4 months and things like that. But Verve School's program is like 15 days, guaranteed placement, right? So that was one thing that set Verve School apart. And apart from that, with regards to the monetary value of the course, also like the big differentiator between Verve School and the other platforms that offer sales training. So I think VerveSchool was like the best fit for me. It's kind of like a blessing. Like somehow I found out VerveSchool through LinkedIn and through Ayush's profile, and here I am now within a week. I feel like the best part of was that the experience was very personalized. No, like with regards to enrolling towards the program, Ayush had helped me with what the documents to send and all of that, and added me to the Slack group. And even with the interview preparation, Harsh had guided me throughout the interview preparation, made me answer questions and gave me feedback on what I need to improve. And I work on feedback, right? So it helps me also improve as a person. So and that during the interview, Ayush, the founder himself, called and he told me, and he calmed my nerves down, to be honest, before the interview. It is very comforting. And even with me doing the training and the accountability partner, where we partner with the other students and learn together and improve our skills together. So I feel like there's a lot of personalization that I really liked about the program.
It just took him 1 week, even though he did not have any sales experience. And that shows you exactly why this skill can be learned and mastered. But wait, I also want to introduce you to Garima Rathore, another one who was able to do the same without any work experience. She was able to land a job within 15 days. Now this can go on and on, but before we get into that and the exact process, I want to give you a quick introduction and share with you how this all started. So my name is Ayush Duggal, and in case we have not been introduced properly, I have been doing sales for a pretty good time and have done some pretty good deals with some pretty big names. But it was not always like that. So this all started 2 years back. I was working at express stores in Gurugram. I was not making a lot of money, but things were going pretty decent. Until one day, when in search of personal growth, I decided to resign, followed by a period of unemployment for 4 months straight. When I was not making any money, things were going rough. I was barely able to pay my bills, thinking every night to myself, when are things going to get better? And every night I did not have any answer. So I just used to go back to sleep. I was dependent on friends and family for help. I was applying everywhere on LinkedIn, but it was just not working out for me. Until one day, I finally received a call. It was from an HR, and it was for a sales role. Sales. I thought for a second. I don't know if I would be able to do it, but I gave the interview anyway and got selected. At this point, I was making 50,000 per month. I was happy. Finally, I was not struggling financially. I wanted to give it my all. And I did that. Followed everything my manager asked me to do. And it was going good. I was doing well. At least that's what everyone told me. But deep in my mind, I still had a memory of what I went through during the period of financial difficulty. And this time, I did not just want to survive, but thrive. Now, how do I exactly do that? The only answer I had for myself was, let's work really hard. And I started doing that. I was dialing more calls than anybody in my team. I was working overtime, and that seemed to be working out for me. I was closing sales deals, I was hitting my targets, I was getting recognition, but it all seemed to be good, not extraordinary. Don't get me wrong, I was grateful and happy with the money and recognition. That was really good to survive, but I just wanted something more this time. I wanted to thrive, but I didn't know how to make it possible. I was going through the internet trying to find anything about sales, but I was just not getting what I wanted. Something that could apply for me. Until one day, when I was traveling from Delhi to Bangalore, and it could have been another boring 2.5 hours long flight, but my eyes saw something. It was a book titled Way of the Wolf, written by Jordan Belfort. Jordan Belfort, I kind of felt like I've heard this name before. Instantly it clicked me, The Wolf of the Wall Street. Now I remembered the movie. It was really entertaining when I first saw it, but I really did not know anything about the real Jordan Belfort. So curiously, I just picked it up and started reading it. And those 2.5 hours, I was completely hooked onto each and every line in that book. Now, I never truly knew that Jordan Belfort was such a genius when it came to sales. During the whole trip, I was reading that book multiple times, each and every time getting something new out of it. I was eager to get back to work and apply all this. I came back and started calling. The new things that I learned kind of worked, but not the way I thought it would. And that was when I realized India and United States are two different markets, very different people, and therefore different ways of selling. I made some changes and boom, my conversion rate went crazy after that. I was able to close more and more, and that was when I immersed myself into learning again from the best people around the world, from Patrick Bet-David, Oren Klaff, and Alex Hermosi, to pioneers like Robert Cialdini, Zig Ziglar, and Brian Tracy. I applied everything to see what worked and what did not work. And after about 2 months of doing this, I came up with my own system, which I call the Accelerator Framework. It is a battle-tested sales system that helped me become the best closer in my company. I was making less calls and still getting more sales than anyone in my team. This was exactly what I needed to thrive. I was literally making double of my salary some months thanks to those big fat incentives. I even got promoted. Things were going really good, like how I wanted them to, but probably it was only for me. I noticed one of my colleague. His name is Meet Dholakia. He was struggling really hard. He was not able to meet his targets and was also warned of being laid off if things did not change. Talking to him about all this, I could see the same situation for him in the near future, the one that I faced for those 4 long months. And I did not really want that to happen. But how can I help him? Probably by teaching him the system I created for myself. Honestly, I was a bit reluctant because it was my system. But then I also did not want him to be in the exact same situation. So I started teaching him everything from A to Z, everything that I knew about sales, and things took a quick turn. He started closing deals and eventually became one of the top performers. And that was when I understood that this system is replicable. As an individual, I can make a fixed number of calls a day, but as a team, we multiplied that number by 10 and became the best performing team in our entire company. And because it was a fast growing startup, we were rewarded as well. And that's when I realized why is sales called the highest paying profession in the world. After some time, Ayush, Priyank and I were in Pune for a company trip and we were discussing the exact system, the one that helped me Dholakia. and many more individuals in my team. Now, although sales has the potential to make people rich, you do not really see that around yourself. The reason is simple: lack of well skilled sales professionals. Now, what makes me say this? Ayush, Priyank, and I combined have taken hundreds of interviews, and when we were talking about the quality of salespeople, it suddenly clicked us. If I can teach me Dholakia and my team, I can teach it to many more people and eventually help a lot of people in the process. And that's how VerveSchool was born. I was working along with my job and we trained a few people for 2 weeks, just the basics, and they got placed. I continued the training because for me, it was not just about getting them a job but also making sure they thrive. After placing our first batch successfully, both of us left our jobs and started working on VerveSchool, helping other people achieve the same things that we were able to. And we have grown from 2 of us to 15 currently, with many more to come. But at this point you may say, Ayush, all that is good, but I don't want to work in sales. Now that might be because of multiple different reasons. And today's age, you've got so many different options, multiple directions you are pulled into. Probably I should learn coding. Or what about data science? Should I learn data science? Or should I do the old school MBA? Or wait, everyone is talking about digital marketing these days. Or let me try video game development. Now, while all of those fields are legit and there are people who are making it big, I want to bring your attention to something that humans have been doing for past thousands of years and will continue to do in the future, and that is sales. You see, from the biggest companies in the world to the smallest, no one can work without revenue. That's how you pay the bills, right? And that revenue is driven by sales. And this is not going to change. So technically speaking, sales is the most important department of every company. And although that sounds technically correct, that's not happening in our country. You don't see that. Sales is not a profession that people talk about in a good light because there is a lack of proper structure when it comes to sales. So much so that 93% of Indians get into arranged marriages. Now this might seem unrelatable. Think about it for a second. Isn't dating about persuasion? And that's not me saying this. Kunal Shah, he is the billionaire founder of Cred and Free Charge. He further says something very interesting.
Okay, you talked about unlimited ways to create wealth.
Mhm.
Okay, let's say, what are those ways?
By design, it comes from understanding of human behavior, right? All of us will not succeed if we don't understand human behavior. You know by design, right now the podcast is going on, you know which clip is going to get what views. It's in your head. You know what is the edit that you need to make, right? We're all wired to do certain things and make certain things work. My view is that all of us are wired to do certain things and get their expertise over a period of time, multiple iterations, right? When we are understanding this human behavior, we understand what is the human motivation behind it. Once you understand human motivation, you will realize what will people pay for. And that skill set can be learned by trying constantly different things.
One cannot succeed if they do not understand human behavior. Once you understand human behavior, you also understand human motivation. And once you understand that, you will understand how to persuade people. And that's what sales is. Talking to people and persuading them. Some people are naturally good at it, most people are not. But this is a skill that can be learned and mastered. Well, Kunal Shah is not the only person saying that. All of you know him from Shark Tank. Mark Cuban, another billionaire investor, says once you learn how to sell, you can always start a business because that experience will make you an entrepreneur at heart. Mark started his career as a young man in sales. He attributes his success to that one decision he took long back. His advice to any young person starting career is to start with sales. Then you have Warren Buffett, considered to be the greatest investor of all time. He took a Dale Carnegie course on speaking and persuasion, and that is the only course which hangs on his wall as a degree. He says that this $100 course is the most valuable education investment he ever made. Now I can go on and on, but that does not serve a purpose because I just don't want to talk about results, but also show you just how our students are able to do it. Now you must be wondering, all that is great, Ayush, but how can I do it? Fair enough. I'll tell you the exact method. You will start with somehow creating a resume, one that gets shortlisted out of the hundreds, then searching through the online resources and preparing for the sales interview, giving a good one and getting selected, and then going through all the courses on sales that you can find, trying and testing stuff that works, and eventually becoming great at sales. And if you want to do that, all the best. It is worth the time and energy, I assure you. But let's face it, you may be able to do this alone, but it is going to take you significantly longer. And at the same time, a lot of rejections are also waiting for you. But there is a second way, however, which most people prefer, where you work with us. We help you get an amazing resume. We coordinate your interview with our partners, train you for the interview, and get you placed within the next 30 days. And it just does not stop there. We also train you afterwards, teaching you everything in sales from basics to advanced. Our own battle tested accelerator framework that enables you to outperform everyone and thrive. The best part? We do not charge you anything till you get your job. So, how do we do that, you may ask? You can schedule a quick call with us where we take you through the whole process and get started to get you a high paying job within the next 30 days. But this is not for everyone. So in order for us to work together, you need to have these two things. You must be prepared to work hard. We want people who are hungry. If you are lazy, not committed, or looking for some easy work from home opportunity, then this is not for you. We want people who are not just looking to survive, but thrive. And you don't get there by being lazy. Other than that, you must also follow all the instructions, because we have a community here and do not want anyone who is not patient enough to follow the instructions. That's it. That's all we ask for. Don't worry if you are not confident on your communication skills, because we will teach you everything. Now, that being said, you have to do this quickly. Because of this being in such a huge demand and the coaching being personal one-on-one, we can only work with 20 students every month. But we are constantly getting more than 100 inquiries every week. So hurry up, because I do not want you to miss this opportunity of being a part of this evergreen profession. Cheering you on, Ayush.